Hello everyone, Harry Baldock here, editor for Total Telecom. I'm here on the morning of Subnet's EMEA 2022, and I'm joined by Gerry Murray, CEO of Stellium. How are you doing today, Gerry?
Great, and yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about Stellium and kind of the background to the company?
So, Stellium is one of the largest data center campuses in the UK. It's the numbers around it are 40,000 square feet of technical floor. It has 11 megawatts of power. But one of the uniques, particularly in the context of this conference, is that it's the only data center in the UK that hosts cable landing stations for subsea systems. There's no other data center in the country that does that. Other systems would land on the coast and then go over terrestrial networks into London. Our competitors would be at the top tier of the market here in the UK, based in Slough or based in Docklands. That creates a lot of uniques for us. The other part of our business, which is very much an expression of what Stellium is as a communications hub, is the NCL-IX. And the NCL-IX is what we call a peering point, an inter-exchange that is physically located at the data center. The whole reasoning for Stellium investing in and establishing and running that internet exchange is that Stellium is probably one of the best connected data centers in the country, and it's an ideal place where telecoms providers, content providers, ISPs, systems integrators can come to hand off their traffic across different networks. And the two, when you take them together, with the communications play and the capability to host large volumes of data at the data center and to transmit it internationally over subsea systems, terrestrially over national fiber networks, regionally, or as general internet traffic, mean that Stellium and the NCL-IX provide all the tools for any content-orientated or telco-orientated business to be able to operate a very efficient and effective business.
You're on a panel later today talking about the interrelationship between data centers and the subsea industry and how that's changing. Can you tell us a bit more about kind of the key takeaways from that session that you hope to have?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that session arose was out of our experience of facilitating the establishment of the Aquacom's AEC system into the facility, and also then for the termination of the No UK system that goes to Stavanger. We took away an awful lot of lessons learned out of that, but one of the key things that we learned out of it was first of all, how important it is that these subsea systems are landed into secure, critical, high availability environments where they will not fail. And that's what the data center business is all about. We're about 100% uptime. But the second thing I think that we took away from it was that the opportunity of having a subsea system terminate into a content hub and the capability to hand off and bring on content, whether that be your YouTube or whether it be your any kind of streaming content, the capability to have that immediately on the doorstep at a direct access point to a subsea system creates a capability, certainly in our case, where our market doesn't become defined by where we are. It's more defined about the latency to where the customers are of the clients that live in the data center. So what we say is that you can stand up your platform at Stellium and typically talk to the east coast of the US, talk to the Nordics, talk to the whole of the UK, or talk to North America or Northern Europe quite easily. From the point of view of the panel that we're dealing with later on today, we thought it was quite useful to be part of the panel because it brings together the Barcelona cable landing station, but also the Marseille cable landing station, which are two other key international European-based subsea hubs. And I think the insights that will come out of that panel will be very useful around that bridge between data centers and subsea systems.
It should be a really interesting session. One of the things that we had at the first keynote this morning was talking about the kind of the evolution of the industry and how things are changing. What do you think have been the biggest changes in recent years for the subsea industry?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. And there was also a session yesterday on the Suboptic Forum where they were discussing the 30-year view. And I would agree 100% with what was said there as much as what was said this morning. It's all about data volumes. We've gone from, we're in petabytes of data now at this stage that have to be accessible, and they have to be accessible over high-speed networks. And the volume of data is growing exponentially. So I think what you're going to see is more cables. You're going to see more fibers in cables. I think you're going to see the optics are going to have to handle bigger transmission rates. And I think also that the issue of security is going to become key. We all understand the environment in which we're operating in at the moment, but there are risks associated with that, and there are vulnerabilities associated with that. And I think that that's going to also become a significant aspect of what this industry has to be capable of standing up and ensuring that it stays in operation.
You've touched on it there already, but I wanted to ask you about your predictions for the future in terms of maybe the next 12 or 18 months, and maybe particularly what that means for Stellium in terms of this kind of booming industry.
Yeah, Stellium is obviously based in the UK, and one of the USPs for Stellium is that its location, in the sense that traditionally most of the subsea systems that went off the eastern seaboard of the UK were based on the southeast of England and slightly north. Because of Stellium's location, it creates a greater opportunity for redundancy and resilience of networks coming out of the UK from a subsea point of view. And I think that over the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to see more use of those systems, the No UK and the AEC and North Sea Connect systems, to better protect the communications of the UK over the next number of years. I think too that you're going to see, from a data center point of view, you're going to see a more regionalizing of data centers. So the traditional reliance on southern UK-based data center facilities to serve the whole of the UK, and then smaller, lower-grade regionalized DCs is going to change. The amount of content that needs to be cached to be available in region for users to access on their devices is growing. The capability of delivering that efficiently is going to drive the regionalizing of data center capacity. It's more like the old analogy of content distribution and access in a network term. The whole distribution infrastructure and the whole access infrastructure is going to grow. All the initiatives around fibre to the home and that, they need to be met in the middle with the regionalizing of data in data centers. And I think that that's what's one of the key drivers from a data center industry is going to happen.
And last question for you, Gerry. We're here at quite a bustling conference, loads of different types of people here. How important is it for you guys as Stellium to be here and have discussions with the wider industry?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was looking around, and this is my third year coming here, and there's more stands from data centers here. And that says something. There's a recognition by the data center industry that it needs to be at these events. And just as with the NCL-IX and the concept that I was talking about earlier on, the whole synergy between what a data center is, what subsea networks are, and the requirement to exchange high volumes of data it makes this kind of event really important, because I've met content providers, many of the operators, many of the suppliers here this morning, and particularly coming out of the pandemic where we were all starved of human contact. This has been a huge opportunity to press the flesh, as they say, from where it was years ago, in the last 2 years.
Gerry, it was great to get a chance to speak to you in person, so thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you very much. My pleasure.